Welcome back to the 7 Abundance Hacks for Success in Any Situation. Today we're doing strategy 4, the challenge of the unknown. It builds upon the previous issues.
I'm Dr. Marion Ross.
And I'm Dr. Tracy Latz
from shiftyourlife.com. Welcome back. Entrepreneurial Alignment is a book we wrote a few years ago, and we've integrated some of the material from that into this presentation. It's a great book for anyone who's an entrepreneur or someone who wants to start a business and wants to be in alignment with their goals and to learn how to overcome self-sabotage before they get started. We've written 5 books. We have a major website, shiftyourlife.com, and we have over 100 videos on Shift Your Life TV on YouTube. So please visit it whenever you'd like to get more information.
Join us on our membership site.
Fear of failure, it starts young.
As early as 2 or 3. If we get yelled at by somebody and create a faulty thought or a belief within ourselves that I'm going to be a screw up, I'm going to fail.
Yeah, you can have a fear of failure because your older sister or brother was born. Who hasn't felt this fear? What causes an unrealistic fear of failure?
We learn through our experiences and the actions of others in our environment that failure is unacceptable. You must do better.
Undue pressures from others to succeed or warnings of what's going to happen if we fail. My God, it causes a lot of negative outcomes. It creates so much overwhelm for us.
Eventually, fear becomes one of our habits, and we stop trying to reach beyond our comfort zone because we can't fail there, right?
Right. What we believe becomes more important than what actually happens, for it's happening outside of us.
Common beliefs about failure that can prevent us from taking risks are things like others will judge me for screwing up or for not doing what they thought was right.
Or I saw Jurassic Park and I know what's going to happen if I don't do it. My worth as a person is dependent upon my performance. If I don't perform, the dinosaur is going to eat me.
Failing in a new business or activity is proof of my incompetence.
Love from others is dependent upon success and accomplishment.
Anything less than perfection is failure. How many people do you know that just feel like they have to be perfect? And when they believe that, there becomes this overwhelming anxiety that I'm not going to write this perfectly, or I'm not going to cook this perfectly, or I'm going to screw up on this test, or on this project for my boss.
So they freeze. They get everything done late or not at all. It's the 3 Ps.
Tips, tools for overcoming a fear of failure. Insight is of utmost importance. Make a list of your fears. Once you've given a fear a face or a name and face it directly, it will have less power over you. Put eyes on those fears. Instead of saying, I don't know why, I'm just afraid, stop and actually sit yourself down and make a list of what it is that makes that so scary.
The mindfulness facing your fear exercise is great. It helps you visualize those fears you have. Once you put eyes on it, you close your eyes, you rank it. And if your fear, let's say it's a fear of flying, is a 6, ramp it up to a 10. Make it as big, or, the fear of separation, whatever it is, make that emotion so overwhelming and just keep ramping it up for a few minutes. And once you find out that it's not going to kill you, it starts diminishing.
Here's one you can do with the same thing where, again, you think of what that great fear is, and then imagine that the New York Times puts on their front page, oh my goodness, Marion actually did this. Whatever that fear is, and allow yourself to imagine that fully through. What would happen then? And then what would happen? And then what would happen? And play the whole thing out in your head and see where it goes.
I'll still be alive, even though I did that. And you can get over any kind of emotion. It's just energy and it's just perspective. The way you look at it is what counts.
The mountain meditation that Marion took you through on our last hack not only is powerful in helping you feel your inner strength and power, it also can transform this sense of I'm going to be inadequate and I'm going to fail. It helps you just sort of realize I can do anything I set my mind to.
What we showed you in the last hack, connecting heaven and earth, is very good grounding. It's a great grounding exercise, and it's also great for connecting with everything that is. So give that one a try when you're feeling really fearful. And I'm going to teach you another one. It's called Connecting Central and Governing Meridian. Tracy, can you stand here? Governing Meridian starts...
Hold on, let me make sure they can see us.
Okay, starts at the small of your back, at your butt. It goes up around your head and ends here in the roof of your mouth. Your central meridian starts at the top of the pubic bone and ends here. What you want to do is connect the two so your energy is circulating. You really can't be very afraid or timid or feeling powerless and fearful when you're connected, but you need to connect yourself, and it's a very simple exercise. You stick your middle finger in your navel and you pull up. You stick your other middle finger at your third eye, push in and pull up. Close your eyes and breathe for about a minute and a half, and you'll notice after a while you're going to yawn, something's going to happen, and your energy will shift. And that's the moment you're connected. And it feels really good. So your energy circulates throughout your whole body. Otherwise, we can tend to be split. Our energies are working from the top half and from the bottom half, but the top and the bottom half aren't connected. So this is a very helpful exercise from traditional Chinese medicine.
So when you use that connecting heaven and earth, you feel connected to earth, to heaven, to humans, all at once. And with that connectedness to everything, then you connect the energies within yourself. And it can help enhance all of your law of attraction intentions, because you begin to be more centered. Then you couple that with getting into your heart, which we went over in earlier portions of this hack lesson for abundance.
It's very hard to become abundant when you're scattered. So you need to get your energies to be cohesive. And we actually have a lot of videos, over 100, on Shift Your Life TV, which show you how to do that. So I would suggest that you visit if you're interested. The fear of success is even more prevalent than the fear of failure, surprisingly enough.
The fear of success is really a fear of the consequences of success. You know, things like, what will my family think of me? If I succeed, they're going to expect more of me.
Or if you're a golfer, what if you bring your handicap down 10 points? You're not going to have the same group to golf with. They're going to hate you. Or you go on a diet and you lose 50 pounds and your whole family is fat and your friends are fat. And they look at you and say, oh my God. And they could be jealous. I mean, these are all stories we tell ourselves. They're not necessarily true.
So what this leads to is an avoidance issue. We begin to be sort of split. I want this, but I'm afraid of this. I want to do this, but if I do follow this path of what I say is my intention to follow, what if I succeed? I'm not sure I want to. And you can see where this
push-pull
really affect the bow that you're pulling back, and that bow and arrow theory of creation of abundance that we talked about earlier.
So the only smart thing to do is transform a fear into a concern, and a concern that can be solved. You want to face issues head on. You want to recognize them. You want to identify them. And you want to look for kinds of support that you can have around you. to help overcome them.
Put eyes on those fears.
Yeah, just don't let them be amorphous. Find out what they are.
Success involves change, and that can feel like responsibility.
It can also be pretty scary. Most people are pretty afraid of any kind of change.
But change doesn't have to be change for the worse. And responsibility, everyone thinks that feels so heavy, but what that actually means is responding to your abilities, which is powerful.
So ask, what will happen if I succeed? So you can put a face on your fear. Again, we're facing our fears. Very, very important. If you're feeling something and you don't know what it is you're feeling and it's making you anxious, depressed, overwhelmed, and crazy, there's going to be no change. There's going to be no improvement until you figure out what it is. So use these tools to do that. If you really want abundance, these are things you need to overcome.
Deal with the issues that come up for you when you ask that question. What will happen if I succeed? Write them down. Write each issue down and answer each to the best of your ability at the time. And if you need to, use that Qigong emotional release if the fear comes up for you.
And do it from the present moment, because if you have a lot of anticipatory anxiety, like my fear of public speaking, it's about what's going to happen in the future. You're afraid you're going to repeat something that's happened in the past many times. You're living in yesterday. There's no chance to change because you're not making new choices from a new mindset. You actually have to learn to change your mindset. And that's what we're going to do here.
And we will also, at the end of this lesson, we will attach or somehow give it separately a way for you to see our EFT for fear of public speaking, since Marion brought that up.
It's a great video, and if you want to learn EFT, they're terrific training wheels. And if you're afraid of public speaking, you won't be after you do this tap with us for 2 or 3 times. It's amazing.
Tap with us.
Come tap with us.
Speaking of tapping,
Universal wisdom. How do you tap into universal wisdom? What is universal wisdom?
universal wisdom is going within and hearing that inner still small voice, being mindful, and being able to see the big picture of any situation.
You mean not being stuck in the minutia of everything and having it go chewing on a bone like a dog?
That's right. We actually, in our intensive Shift Your Life courses and in our books, we help you make certain that once you have transformed all of your fears and lower baser emotions, we actually give you a meditation in our books and courses where you have your own temple of wisdom personally that you can go within and ask any question that you want and receive an answer, and it's not scary.
Once you understand that everything happens for a reason and you start looking at the big picture and change your perspective, you're no longer a victim. Every situation is helping you with understanding who you are and who you aren't.
If we don't understand this, we will likely have scenarios continue to come up in our lives in front of our face. This is the law of attraction. And if we don't get it, not because we're being punished, but because we are so loved unconditionally that our own higher self, our own true essence will help work with the universe to bring things to us that mirror our own subconscious or conscious thoughts that are holding us back, because our true essence wants nothing but for us to be unlimited and to challenge and remove anything that impedes us from stepping fully into our purpose.
The life we're living, the life we see outside of us, is a reflection of what's going on within us. So if we're not changing what's going on within us, nothing's going to change outside of us.
So, what keeps us from accessing universal wisdom?
Overwhelming emotions during a crisis or situation in our life that keeps us from having any kind of clarity, like a divorce.
We can't see the forest for the trees when that happens.
We need to transform anger, resentment, fear, and heartbreak over the issue to allow us to be in our heart. We have to be quiet and still enough to hear the still small voice. We have to get rid of the chatter or the teacher never appears.
Again, we give tools at a deeper level in Bye-Bye Self-Sabotage, as well as in Entrepreneurial Alignment, and in our courses and on our membership site. Join us if you'd like to take your teaching and learning deeper and be engaged in a forum where you actually have a tribe.
Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you for the next hack.